or to shop online, please call or chat with us on 0811 20 26000. Website www.addersmallng.com.
Offer valid while stocks last. The real Black Friday will by Addersmall.
Your ultimate choice.
You get something you go notice with people who don't make them. Then they always stay strong and active. They no get dull moments because say they go first snack correct wakis for morning. Then can't take the Dion syrup of hemoglobin support body. The Dion syrup of hemoglobin vitamin B12. Now the Ogbonge blood tonic to help your body system so you go fit to perform well for work and even for play. 2 full spoon of the Dion's when you take straight like that or mix with the beverage you take go office or gym. Go keep you can't pay the whole day and you go just dey bounce like football. Hey, the Dion syrup of hemoglobin. There we go. Nothing do you. The Dion syrup of hemoglobin. Not the power to unleash. I beg, make una read the story paper.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot speaking. Today we have some special passengers on board. 3 Betano members are going to England to watch Aston Villa live. Congratulations, Rebecca, Yemi, Ibrahim.
Play with Betano and stand a chance to win an all-inclusive trip to the UK to watch live the big game of Aston Villa versus Tottenham. Betano, proud partner of Aston Villa. Play responsibly. Available only to those over the age of 18. The promo is valid from November 1st to February 28th, 2025.
Think of great music. Think of transportation experts discussing issues. Think of government policies well spelled out. Think of traffic reports on your frequency every 10 minutes. Think no more. You have a show bet here for these and more. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM. Moving Lagos forward.
And of course, it's still your Moving Lagos Forward station. It's now time for us to bring you Cleaning Edge. Great people of Lagos, it's that moment again for us to delve into, best practices as it has to do with waste management in Lagos. And as we all know, the whole idea of this is to raise environmental awareness and also promote sustainable sanitation practices. Of course, we get to look at the importance of becoming environmentally conscious and also exploring practical ways to dispose waste at any point in time. Lagos, welcome to Cleaning Edge. This program is a 30-minute program designed to sensitize you and I on the need to be environmentally conscious and how to apply best sanitation practices, all in a bid to achieve a cleaner and sustainable environment. And it's brought to you by the Lagos Waste Management Authority, LAWMA, in collaboration with Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Welcome to Cleaning Edge. My name is Mike James. So today on the program, we shall be talking about circular economy and LAWMA's vision for a zero-waste Lagos. Now, before now, waste management practices centered on linear economy, characterized by the use and, dispose model, a non-sustainable practice that has resulted in increased pollution and wastage of resources. This backdrop brought about the adoption of a circular economy, an environmental sustainability model that leverages reducing, reusing, and recycling waste to minimize environmental impact while maximizing resource efficiency. Now, the Lagos Waste Management Authority's vision for a zero-waste Lagos is to ensure residents desist from indiscriminate waste disposal and to see waste as a resource, utilize opportunities in recycling by driving sustainable innovations, foster public-private partnerships, and encourage residents to embrace economic opportunities in recycling for the nation's growth and development. So that's why we have decided to delve into, circular economy and LAWMA's vision for a zero-waste Lagos. My guest is here, already seated. She's no stranger to the microphone. She's been here previously on Cleaning Edge. But first, we're going to have to go on a break. I will take a message from LAWMA. When we return, we shall begin the conversation. Stay here with us.
Stop it! Yes, you don't do it! Indiscriminate dumping of refuse into drainage channels is prohibited in Lagos State. It has to stop. Henceforth, it's zero tolerance for building or erecting structures on drainages, setbacks, and alignments in Lagos State. Government is doing its best to make our environment clean and safe. As responsible citizens, we too should play our part to sustain it. Dumping of refuse into drainages, canals, or gutters destroys our roads and drainage systems, causes flooding in some areas, and poses great dangers to lives and damage to our public structures. Desist from disposing refuse into drainage channels and canals. It's damaging to the image of Lagos State. Remember, there are laws and regulations guiding the disposal of waste in Lagos State. Offenders will be prosecuted according to the law. Do the right thing. Use refuse bins, not canals, gutters, or drains. Dispose waste responsibly. Protect our drainage system. Contribute to a safer environment for us all. Igega Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Ajumoshinu, Office of Drainage Services, NLSA.
If you asked me what a team of heroes look like, I would say people committed to creating a clean and beautiful state. After all, what's there to love about living in a dirty and harmful environment? That's why at LAWMA, we built an exceptional team with people like the fearless Binga who picks up waste from your house and streets, the swift Musa who navigates all waste to the landfills, Yadipe, the super cleaner who saves our roads from litters, and of course, our magical recycler, Atiruke, who converts waste to wealth. Everyone at LAWMA is committed to keeping Lagos clean in every way for a safer and healthier Lagos. LAWMA, a league of heroes. Keep Lagos clean.
Lagos, welcome back to the show. It's Clean and Edge. Beautiful Saturday morning. We'll be talking circular economy, LAWMA's vision for a new zero waste Lagos. But first, let's do some house cleaning. Traffic update from mile 12. There's a case of a broken down loaded tanker with a shaft problem at Odogun, inward Itowolu, affecting traffic. I understand traffic movement is still fine, despite that impediment. From the Victoria Island corridor, we have recorded another broken down loaded tanker have a shaft problem at Eco Hotel roundabout, but effort is on for its recovery. Of course, we've been bringing in more news regarding that, and from the live cameras, areas, Lagos Abeokuta Expressway, amazingly, traffic has built up from National towards Ajayi Farm. It's a slow-moving traffic. That's what we're monitoring via the live cameras, but we'll see what the cause of that traffic is. All right, then, and other areas still look pretty calm. Yes, Agege Pen Cinema, no cause for alarm. Latif Jakande still moving pretty well, as well as Kurat Abiola Way. All right, so that gives us some time to have great conversations on, circular economy. I'm joined by Mrs. Jirinsola Olaleye. She's our Assistant Director, Circular Economy, here on Clean and Edge this morning. Good morning, and good to have you on the show again.
Good morning, Mike, and it's good to be here again.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk circular economy from your own perspective. I'd like you to shed some light on what circular economy is all about. And yes, let's begin with that for someone who's just hearing this for the first time.
Okay, so this is the way I like to start.
Okay.
So man has always been dependent on natural resources. You know, we exploit these natural resources, we make them into products we use, and then we discard.
Absolutely.
Without thinking of the effects on the environment. And we can't continue to do this because obviously because of population, we've been overexploiting these resources, and there's increased pollution. There's increase in greenhouse gases,
Obviously.
from activities of men, and the list goes on and on and on. But we can't continue to continue life that way, and so we need to change the way we think. We think of waste, we think of resources, and So circular economy is an economic tool first and foremost. It also targets zero waste. So what that means is circular economy looks at how do you eliminate waste from not just when the waste has been created, but from your process, from the thinking, from the conceptualization stage. How do you eliminate waste? How do you reduce, or how do you ensure that even when the material or waste is going back to the environment, how do you ensure that you're safely disposing of it? So circular economy, like I mentioned, it's an economic tool, and then it helps us to begin to think of waste as material. I'll give you an example. Circular economy mimics nature. I'll give you an example. So we have trees or plants that produce fruits or give us food.
Yes.
And then we eat of the fruits. You know, if it's a fruit that has seed, you dispose of the seed. It germinates and gives us a new plant. You can get new fruits from it.
Absolutely.
And of course you nourish your body. Now the leaves, at some point it gets dry and then falls, on the ground. It decomposes. When it decomposes, it goes back into the soil, nourishing the soil, and giving nourishment to the plants and other plants around. So in nature, nothing is wasted. So circular economy is actually mimicking nature. Some of it is wasted. I know it sounds a bit complicated. I'll break it down. So, so what that means in essence is, from the point where you extract material from the soil, you take it into production. I mentioned that linear economy takes, use and dispose. But when it comes to circular economy, it's talking about completing that loop. How do you take that, like a cycle? How do you take that back into the system? So circular economy, the way I like to say it is, it's the end of somebody's waste and then the beginning of another man's process. Meaning that the waste that ends as you consider waste at your own end. When it's going to somebody else, it goes back as feedstock into its process. So at the end of the day, nothing is really wasted.
And there's really no waste.
Nothing is wasted.
Okay, so let's look at the four main concepts of circular economy in this regard. Let's talk about the concepts of circular economy. Okay. So looking at reuse, recycling, waste reduction, and product redesign. So I'm just on these to my listeners.
So let me start with the principles of circular economy. Circular economy is based on three major principles. One is minimizing waste. The second is, so when I say minimizing waste, we term waste as a design flaw. It's generated because of the process. So from that process, is it possible for you to eliminate that waste? And I'll give you an example. So this also ties into the reduce, reuse, recycle, and all of that. So you really understand the interconnectivity as you go along. So just recently, about a year or two, a couple of years ago, a beverage company transitioned from using a green bottle for a particular product to a transparent bottle. Now, the green bottle, because it's recyclable, the PET bottles, that's the PET bottle, the PET bottle, the bottled water,
They're
recyclables. But when it comes to also colors, they also have the different levels of so the clear white ones are much more valuable than the colored ones. So I discovered this. This company decided to design and transformed, changed the color of that bottle from green to white to increase the recyclability. So from the beginning, waste has been eliminated.
Absolutely.
Yes. Then the second process is the regenerative nature of waste. Like I mentioned to you that circular economy mimics nature. In nature, nothing is wasted. Cycle. So that was the cycle that I explained to you when I said that from cradle, from production, and usage, disposal, and then it going back
redesigning
into the system.
Yes.
So it goes back and then comes out as a product, a different product, without necessarily getting to the landfill site.
Absolutely.
So it completes
cycle.
that circle. And then there's the minimization of waste.
Okay. Tell us
The
about
best way to manage waste is not to generate waste at all. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible not to generate waste. So when you so one of the things that I use as the first is the refuse, not reduce. If you refuse, say for example, you go to a market, you should go with your shopping bag. Rather than having to go to the market each time you want to buy a different product, you're getting like 3 different bags to package just one product. But if you're going with, so the first thing is to refuse, which I mentioned that waste generation starts with an idea. So meaning that you can actually refuse to generate waste. So if you refuse the bags, say for example, of course you've minimized like 2-3 bags that you would have taken, when you have your what's it called now, your reusable bags.
Yes, of course.
So of course that's refusal.
Okay.
Then reducing is, if for example you buy, we advise that people buy in bulk instead of having to buy in smaller bits. When you buy in smaller bits, the volume of waste that you're generating. And when you buy in bulk, or for example you go and buy refills, you're of course reducing what you generate. And then you also have reduce, reuse, which a lot of us practice. Directly and indirectly, we do a lot of reusing at home. I tell people that if you go into people's fridge or freezers in the houses, you find an ice cream bucket that has, that's been converted into a pepper.
So let's move on with things now. Let's talk about the relationship now. The relationship between LAWMA's zero waste vision and circular economy. Yes, what's the relationship between these concepts?
Okay, so when I started, I mentioned that circular economy is an economic tool that targets zero waste and pollution.
Right.
And of course, we also believe that we can reduce or minimize the volume of waste getting to the landfill site. Hence the zero waste initiative that we're propagating. So again, like I mentioned before, we are looking at the inherent value in waste. Of course, if you find out that there's waste, there's value in waste, of course it will end up on the landfill site.
Definitely.
So of course that ties the circular economy and what we're doing, because at the center of it is increasing or bringing up the value, let people see the value in waste, such that at the end of the day it is not waste but a resource. So of course that limits the material. Now we don't call it waste anymore, we call it resources. Yes, we call it resource. So the resource is restricted or limited, or it's barred from getting to the landfill site.
Okay, so let's talk about the initiatives LAWMA has put in place in order to, attain zero waste Lagos. What are the initiatives LAWMA has come up with in order to achieve the zero waste Lagos concepts?
Okay, so we've embarked on several initiatives, and one of such is the Adopt a Bin initiative.
Okay.
We've talked about recycling, but you also need to understand that when it comes to recycling, if you don't have the materials, there's no way you can have recycling. So we encourage that, and of course it's not just about having materials, it's about having clean materials. So we encourage that. So the Adopt a Bin is an initiative that encourages people to have a 2-bin system, and that means we're promoting recycling, we're promoting segregation of waste from source. So we're promoting the 2-bin system. Of course, we're used to the regular bin bins that we see where all the regular waste goes into. But then we also have the second bin, which we're introducing, or which we have introduced now.
2-bin system. 2-bin system. For someone who's just hearing this.
Okay.
So why should I get 2 bins instead of just spending a lot of money to buy one and just to achieve the same vision, which is to dispose my waste properly and ensure that the PSP operators come and cut them away. So why do I need to get 2 bins now? And why is LAWMA coming up with this system of waste disposal?
So we need to think about the environment.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, we can't continue to take our waste to the landfill sites. Lagos is a very small state. Population is increasing. We're at about
on a daily
basis, and then the figures are not even accurate. You're not sure of the numbers of people that come in every day, And of course, with increase in population comes increase in waste generation.
Definitely.
And again, we can't take this to the landfill site. We can't continue to take this to the landfill site because we have limited space. And again, I mentioned that there's value in waste. So basically what we're doing is to encourage people to have the 2 bins. Like I mentioned, we're used to the green bins, which all the other bins, all the other waste goes to. But now the additional bin is for the materials that we now realize have value.
Economic
value.
So what kind of materials are you talking about?
So we're looking at plastics.
Okay.
And then we have plastics in all categories. We have the PET, PVC, and then the list goes on and on and on. There are about 7 categories of plastics. We have the paper, we have carton, we have metals, even your shoes, the soles, they are reusable. And then another one that has, that is beginning to catch on is the fabric waste.
Okay.
Yes, and also, as a matter of fact, organic waste also has its value. So nothing is really wasted. So, but of course, we can't commingle the organics with the dry waste. So the blue bins are for the dry waste. And then these are moved on to recycling centers where they're further sorted and then sold off to off-takers.
So that's the concept of the 12-bin system. Lagos, Nigeria, Clean Energy is a show. We're talking circular economy and LAWMA's vision for Zero Waste Lagos. My guest is Mrs. Jirinsola Olaleye. She's head circular economy for LAWMA. We're going to go on a break now. We'll take a message from our partners. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. And of course, we'll open the phone line so you can talk to my guest in the studio here if you've got 1 or 2 questions regarding waste management or you've got challenges regarding waste management. We'll be back.
Stop it! Yes, you don't do it! Indiscriminate dumping of refuse into drainage channels is prohibited in Lagos State. It has to stop. Henceforth, it's zero tolerance for building or erecting structures on drainages, setbacks and alignments in Lagos State. Government is doing its best to make our environment clean and safe. As responsible citizens, we too should play our part to sustain it. Dumping of refuse into drainages, canals or gutters destroys our roads and drainage systems, causes flooding in some areas and poses great dangers to lives and damage to our public structures. Disease from disposal into drainage channels and canals. It's damaging to the image of Lagos State. Remember, there are laws and regulations guiding the disposal of waste in Lagos State. Offenders will be prosecuted according to the law. Do the right thing. Use refuse bins, not canals, gutters, or drains. Dispose waste responsibly. Protect our drainage system. Contribute to a safer environment for us all. Igega Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Ajimoshinu, Office of Drainage Services, announcer.
If you ask me what a team of heroes look like, I'd say people committed to creating a clean and beautiful state. After all, what's there to love about living in a dirty and harmful environment? That's why at LAWMA, we built a professional team with people like the fearless brother who picks up waste from your house and streets, the swift Musa who navigates all waste to the landfills, Dipe, the super cleaner who saves our roads from litters, and of course, our magical recycler, Atiluke, who converts waste to wealth. Everyone at LAWMA is committed to keeping Lagos clean in every way for a safer and healthier Lagos. LAWMA, a league of heroes. Keep Lagos clean.
Right, Lagos, welcome back to Clean and Edge. A beautiful Saturday morning, and we're talking circular economy and LAWMA's vision for a zero-waste Lagos. That's what we're discussing on the program this morning. And my guest is here in the studio, Mrs. Jirinsola Olaleye. She's head circular economy for LAWMA. A quick one from the aggregate motor road. Owing to construction by men of CCEC at National Inward Airport, traffic has backed up to Ajayi Farm. All right, like I said, it's quite unusual being a Saturday morning, but there must be a reason for that traffic. I've been monitoring the situation via the live cameras here in the studio. All right, so Lagos, in case you're wondering why there is traffic on a Saturday like this at Ajayi Farm Inward National, it's owing to construction work ongoing at National Inward Airport, which has backed up traffic to Ajayi Farm at the moment. But officers are on ground making sure things are done appropriately. So patience is advised. All right, and so back to the conversation. You two can join the conversation on 0915-387-7127. You can also send in WhatsApp messages to 0809-912-0777. We've got waste management challenges, so perhaps one or two questions to ask my guest here in the studio. Don't forget, we're talking circular economy and LAWMA's vision for a zero-waste Lagos. So you've talked about the dual bin system. Yes, let's talk about other initiatives that LAWMA has on ground.
Okay, so one of the other initiatives that I'm going to talk about is the Catch Them Young program through the LAWMA Academy. So we are training, so it's a knowledge hub of LAWMA, waste management in Lagos. We believe that we need to catch the children young, and of course we believe that we're also training the next generations of waste managers in Lagos, not just Lagos, because we know that the young ones are also moving in, they're very mobile, and so the LAWMA Academy has several programs targeted towards not just children, but different sectors or different areas. So let me talk about the summer school program, and that is a summer program that we organize for children during summer, the long holiday. They stay with us in the office for about a month, and then we have different programs lined up for them, just to take them through waste management and sustainability and other issues as it relates to sustainable living. We also have corporate trainings, that's tailored to meet the different needs, based on needs. One of the other things that we do is also partnerships with the private sector.
Private sector,
yes, because we believe that the government, it's not just about the government, it should be an inclusive all inclusive
and I understand NGOs
NGOs, we have private sectors, we have even international organization coming together and looking at how to get to recover materials of to recover materials, basically to stop that stopping materials from getting to the landfill. Yes, so we've had different recovery programs, and of course I know that many more would be coming.
In terms of recycling, there are lots of people who would like to key into recycling. So what's the process like?
Okay, so first and foremost, I want to mention that in Lagos, if for you to be involved in anything that relates to waste management, you definitely need to be registered with LAWMA.
Okay.
Whether you're working, as long as it's on the waste management value chain, you need to be registered working with LAWMA, you know. And so for the recyclers, we have different stakeholders on the value chain.
Okay.
We have the collectors, the aggregators, the pre-processors, even the logistics. You know, so and we want to ensure that all these people are on our database, all these people are registered. As long as you're not registered with us, it means that you're operating illegally.
Speaking about legal operation, we have the scavengers, waste pickers, we call them urban miners. Yes, how does LAWMA regulate activities of these category of people? We understand, yes, they're contributing to the waste value chain, but then there's no sort of registration. They do their things on their own. So what is LAWMA doing in order to bring them into the system in a proper way?
So contrary to the belief of people that the informal sector is not organized, I want to change that notion. They are actually very organized, but it's not as organized as we want it to be. So one of the things that we're doing currently is we started an enumeration of the informal sector. We identified that there are about 18,000 of them.
Wow.
And on our enumeration, on our database at the moment, we've captured about 5,000 of them.
Okay.
So that's the first step into integrating them into the current waste management system that we're working on. So the idea at the end of the day is to see how we can bring them in and see how we can have a more formalized and organized system working with everybody. Like I said, it's an inclusive system.
Well, it's very unfortunate our time is fast spent, but before I let you go, what's your word of advice to negotiants in terms of waste management, waste disposal and all?
So waste management is, I'm always going to say this, it's always an inclusive thing. It's not just about the government, it's about everybody.
Absolutely.
So I want to encourage all of us, or as long as we're in Lagos, or even outside Lagos, as long as you can hear my voice, let's segregate our waste. It's very, very key. Of course, we need to pay our bills because the PSPs are private operators and they need to be kept afloat. And without payments, of course, can't remain in the system. And of course, we are big on service delivery, and of course, we want to be sure that you get service as when you.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for coming on board the program this morning. Lagos, my guest has been Mrs. Jirinsola Olaleye. She's head circular economy for LAWMA, and together we've been talking about circular economy and LAWMA's vision for zero waste Lagos. Don't forget, you can always connect with LAWMA if you've got waste management challenges by connecting with the agency on Facebook. That's via social media on Facebook, LAWMA.gov, Instagram, LAWMA_gov, or perhaps you can send an email to info@lawma.gov.ng. WhatsApp is up and running, 0708 060 1020. I must also appreciate Director Public Affairs for LAWMA, Mrs. Folashade Kadri, and also from the Public Affairs Department, Mr. Olowo Abdullahi is a Public Affairs Officer for LAWMA as well. Thank you so much for the logistics. On behalf of my executive producer, Tayo Akonle, Cleaning Edge will come your way again next week Saturday at exactly 9:15. But you're going to have yourself a wonderful weekend and a great week ahead.
Yes, you don't do it. Indiscriminate dumping of refuse into drainage channels is prohibited in Lagos State. It has to stop. Henceforth, it's zero tolerance for building or erecting structures on drainages, setbacks, and alignments in Lagos State. Government is doing its best to make our environment clean and safe. As responsible citizens, we too should play our part to sustain it. Dumping of refuse into drainages, canals, or gutters destroys our roads and drainage systems, causes flooding in some areas, and poses great dangers to lives and damages
damage to our public structures. Desist from disposing refuse into drainage channels and canals. It's damaging to the image of Lagos State. Remember, there are laws and regulations guiding the disposal of waste in Lagos State. Offenders will be prosecuted according to the law. Do the right thing. Use refuse bins, not canals, gutters, or drains. Dispose waste responsibly. Protect our drainage system. Contribute to a safer environment for us all. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe Office of Drainage Services, announcer.
I need you. You need me. Together we can make Lagos clean. Make sure you throw away your death properly, not inside canals, to avoid flooding on our roads when it rains. Lagos Traffic Radio say keep Lagos clean, moving Lagos forward.